They say revenge doesn't heal you. But what if it's the only thing that finally sets you free? When I caught my boyfriend stealing £5,000 from our joint account, money I had worked double shifts to save, I thought my world was over. But I didn't cry for long, because instead of falling apart, I decided to make him pay. This isn't a story about heartbreak. It's a story about justice. And trust me, it hits harder than karma ever could. When I met him at university, he was everything I thought I wanted. Charming, focused, that kind of guy who made you feel like you were the only person in the room. He studied hard, worked even harder, always knew how to make me laugh. He'd show up after class with takeaway coffee, that boyish grin that made everything else fade away. I fell for him fast. Too fast. At first, everything was perfect. Movie dates, late night talks, plans for the future. We even talked about saving up for a flat together, dreaming about little furniture pieces we'd pick. But slowly things changed. He stopped showing up for class, stopped working, stopped trying. At first, I thought it was stress, exams, burnout, maybe depression. But no, it was laziness wrapped in excuses. While I was pulling double shifts at the cafe, he was home, glued to his Xbox, scrolling through forums, wasting days like they meant nothing. The man I loved was disappearing, replaced by someone who expected me to carry him. Sometimes he'd say, "I'll get back on track, babe. Just need a break." And I'd nod, believing him, hoping the old him would come back. He didn't. I kept hoping he'd snap out of it, that maybe the guy I fell for was still somewhere inside. But then came the night that ended it all. I came home early from a 12-hour shift, hair messy, clothes reeking of coffee, and saw his phone buzzing on the sofa. Dozens of messages. From someone named Sophie. At first, I couldn't even process what I was reading. Then it hit me like a wave. He wasn't just lazy. He was cheating. I waited until he walked out of the shower, towel around his waist, acting like nothing happened. I asked, quiet but sharp, "Who's Sophie?" He froze. That second of silence told me everything. I kicked him out that night, his clothes, his console, everything. Told him I never wanted to see his face again. And for a few hours, I actually felt free. Until the next morning, when I checked our joint savings account, the one we'd been building for months, the balance showed £0. All £5,000. Gone. He had drained it overnight and vanished. I called the bank. They said there was nothing they could do. He was authorized on the account. I called the police. They said it was a civil issue, not a crime. It felt like being robbed, but legally. I sat there staring at the screen, hands shaking, chest tight. The same man who once kissed my forehead before exams had just stolen my future. And then, I saw him online, posting pictures with her. A new flat, a new TV, a brand new console. Every single item, paid for with my money. I can't even describe the kind of rage that burned through me. But it wasn't loud rage. It was quiet, cold, calculated. Because I didn't want to scream. I wanted revenge. And not just any revenge. The kind that leaves a mark, the kind that teaches. Years before, I had worked a summer job at a debt collection agency. Awful work, soul-sucking really. But I'd learned things. Like how debts can go statute barred after 6 years in the UK, meaning they can't be legally enforced. And how a single payment, even a tiny one, resets the entire 6-year clock. My ex, he'd been dodging debts for years, bragging about how close he was to escaping them forever. And I had all his old debt letters, every last one. So I called his creditors. "Hi, I'd like to make a small payment on behalf of Andrew Mason. Are you his partner?" "No, just a friend helping him out." They accepted. £8.50 in total. £8.50. That was all it took to reset the timer. And before hanging up, I gave them his new address. And his parents' address. Just in case. The trap was set. Now, all I had to do was wait. It didn't happen overnight. That's what made it beautiful. At first, he was still posting pictures of his new life. Bragging about gadgets, parties, nights out. Him and Sophie on weekend trips, cocktails in hand, captions about new beginnings. And I watched quietly. Never liked. Never commented. Just watched.
Then the tone changed. Posts like,
What happens if a debt collector finds you again? Can old debts come back? People told him not to worry. Just ignore them, mate. But I knew better. A few weeks later, another post. Got a letter from court. Do I have to go? Then silence for a while. Until the next post, almost frantic. Bailiffs can't really take your stuff, right? He didn't go to court, which, of course, meant the court went without him. Then came the crash. He posted again, this time no pictures. Just words. They took everything. Even the TV. Even my bed. His perfect world, built with stolen money, crumbled in silence. The bailiffs cleared him out. The courts hit him with multiple county court judgments. His credit destroyed. His reputation gone. And that shiny life he'd built on my money, reduced to dust. He vanished from social media for months. But every once in a while, I'd check the public court records, his name popping up again and again. Each time, I smiled a little. Justice doesn't need to be loud to be satisfying. Years have passed since then.
I never got my £5,000 back.
But I got something far more valuable, closure. That revenge wasn't about ruining him. It was about reminding myself that I could fight back. That I wasn't powerless. Sometimes justice doesn't wear a badge. Sometimes it wears a calm smile. I don't know where he is now. Maybe still running from his choices. Maybe still blaming the world. But me? I moved on. I built something real. And when I look back, I don't see anger anymore. Just a lesson. A reminder that no matter how dark it gets, you can always rewrite your story. If this story hit home, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever seen karma come full circle? And don't forget to subscribe because next time, I'm telling a revenge story even colder than this one. Fade out. Soft hum dissolves into silence.